Welcome to Yellow Brick Road. I am Jordan, and today we're going to do a little fan request. Sam Seder explains Tim Pool's popularity, but first, do not forget to share, support, hopefully donate to Devon's Journey to Recovery, to helping victims of Africom, the Cohen Daly, the Australian boy. Also, help out some content creators, Stevie, aka Red Economics, Sleepy J, Buy My Coffee, 2 scoops, and also the snail from Chicago, Ali Alexandra. All links in the description box. She told me to do that. I'm being a dick or anything. All right. So I have not watched. I watched 10 seconds of it, but I was just doing a sound test, and so I have no idea what's going to be said here. Let's check it out. Sam Seder explains Tim Pool's popularity from the Majority Report. Here we go.
I listen to a lot of Tim Pool.
Yeah, of course.
And Tim Pool is like, do you ever have one of those dreams where like all of a sudden you're just like a biology professor, like, and you have a lecture in 5 minutes?
No.
And mine is that I'm playing in like the U.S. Open, like I'm a tennis player.
Okay.
The U.S. Open tennis, anyways.
Delusions of grandeur.
And like I don't play tennis at all. But then I go out there and I just sort of start swinging around and like it seems to be working.
Okay.
That's what Tim Pool does, but every day for his job. I listened to his takes on Cuba, and it's also sort of like one of those blot tests because he'll take both sides of everything. So he says in his Cuba video that he's not really about that intervention stuff, but that also we could, if we did intervene, like we could take care of it really quickly. He's confident that it wouldn't be a long, protracted thing.
I don't even know what we would take care of in that situation.
Well, go in and do a quick regime change. But then he switches back to saying, but that's what they said about Iraq, and that was a disaster. And then later on in the video, he says he's for democracy.
I don't know.
But then he sort of says, but not direct democracy, really. He's just flopping around, and I'm really having a hard time wrapping around.
Did you read that story in the day?
So that is definitely a trait I have noticed with the Tim Pool character, is the, kind of making everything wishy-washy and hard to define. And it's basically just someone covering all their bases, but not in the way I would, I think a well-meaning person would do. To where it's like the only reason they're going to so many sides because they're confused or they don't exactly understand the scenario, or they want to make sure everyone has as much, information, as many angles as possible as they can. That's not what I get from Tim Pool. I get the vibe of someone who needs to pander to a Trumpian audience, but also has a past in politics that he can't just say, well, I'm not that anymore, right? He kind of has to keep the veneer of his past politics intact while also pandering to, like Trump fans, which I guess are like, well, I guess they're still Trump fans, but like that whole culture of things, I think it's beyond Trump at this point, and it's here to stay, ladies and gentlemen. And Tim Pool is just gonna be like getting paid off of it. All right, here we go.
Just flopping around, and I'm really having a hard time.
Trust me, I feel as boring as I sound right now.
Yes, but it honestly doesn't
explain why he's so incredibly successful with the numbers. I'll tell you why.
I can't get past the hat. I'll be honest. It's like at the beginning of Trump when.
This should be interesting, actually, because it's like, how could someone so wishy-washy, or the talking points are incredibly stupid, but even those he kind of takes back just in case something happens, right? That's what I think he's doing, at least. Like, I think he's grifting to the sense of, in case the events change around or the popularity changes around, he can move with it. There's the lack of entertainment. Like, I don't understand, like, he's not particularly smart when he talks, like smart sounding when he talks. He's not funny. I don't get the appeal. I really don't get the appeal. Other than a kind of like neutral hangout spot. Like his channel is just a hangout spot for, gonna be honest, a lot of silly people. I think he has the dumbest audience on YouTube. Like they might be the dumbest audience. Either they're gun ho for the Trump shit and don't see that this guy's pandering off of them and making money off of them and shit, like straight up as a purpose, or or usually there's a lot of hate watchers too. Not gonna lie, but whatever. All right, let's continue. Let's hear Sam's explanation.
And it was like, how are people seeing past his hair? And
what
then
hair?
we just fucking elected that guy, and I feel the same way about Tim Pool. Like I just look at him wearing a hat in the middle of the summer. It's like 102 outside, and he's wearing a stocking cap. I don't know.
Doing a Tim Dillon joke.
And then he opens his mouth, and it's even worse. So
Just think of it as his religious garb.
I mean, I think the bottom line is that I would love to see his demographics, because I would imagine they are very. Oh, I guess he's gone. I think he's talking to like honestly, like 12-year-old boys, and there's nothing wrong. I mean, I have an 8-year-old boy, and he's fine. But I think.
Fine.
Really? Is that true? Sounds so. He's like I said, there's nothing entertaining about what he does. Maybe there's people he has on that are entertaining, but he's like super like dry and boring and shit. Like there's no other appeal other than to make fun of him, like his mannerisms or his voice or something. So I don't get where young people would come in. I would think more of older people who don't know so much about politics to where these guys just hear what they want to hear. So when when Poole is saying something about Trump, some sort of glowing light, they hear that part, but the rest of it, like they're kind of turn their minds off, or they hear it and they're like, oh, you know what? Tim's just he's just a lefty. He's on the left, but he gets it though. He gets it. That it's unfair what they're doing to Trump. Just say it like it seems that way. Which is, that'd be crafty grifting to make it so that I don't know, like I remember the hashtag walk away bullshit. And it's like, I see why, there's a lot of people who were never, quote unquote, on the left that loved seeing that thing happen. Almost like they feel like they played a role in moving them back. Like, yes, we're moving you to the correct side over here. Meanwhile, their side is obscenely stupid as far as, the politics of it. The politicians they cheer on, my God. You stupid and Bush voters. It's kind of, you because someone else is so bad, you picked someone who's also bad, but in your mind not as bad. But you still picked bad, and you're calling it a smart thing to do. Think about that. China good because U.S. bad. Russia good because U.S. bad. Russia bad because U.S. good. That's the kindergarten toddler blocks with letters on them. Political intelligence. That's what that is. It's for children. Let's continue.
Fine.
Yeah, he's okay.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe it is kids then.
My point is that the depth of understanding for a lot of people is pretty low, and he just
the depth of thinking is I don't mean mental gymnastics to where you have 3,000 billion fucking words memorized and different all this shit. I mean actual the process of thinking it's a deeper level of thinking than just I memorized the script for Inception and I understand it. There's levels. Yeah, I understand it. It didn't confuse me. I got it. Meanwhile, it's like, no, there's actual thinking, in-depth thinking. What was the artist trying to say here? Right, the abstract. I'm considering the abstract into my equation here. It's not just word salad, information salad. Like, well, doing all this thinking, but like, what's the point? There's a question to pull you into the deeper realms of actual thought. Pause? No pause. Here we go.
Talks, and that's basically what it is. He games the system a little bit. I think that there's some reason to believe that he may have figured out some mechanisms to drive some of his viewership, but I think, and then it starts becoming a self-fulfilling prophecy on some level. But it's unbelievable.
I like that word.
He was available. We talked about this on a recent Left Reckoning video. Like, he started out as this Occupy Wall Street streamer and had basically just the capability to stream from down there, and people started getting annoyed at him because he was both recording what the he's saying he's an objective journalist, so he needs to publish everything, but also saying I'm an Occupy Wall Street activist and I'm here as part of you guys. And so activists started getting pissed about him, and then he rode that success. Like, years later, you see this story in like GigaOM or whatever, these like tech sites saying, look at this Occupy Wall Street activist with the new Google Glass, and he's like walking around Vice News, and like it's different. Like Vice News gave him a job, ABC News, like he got credibility from all these different places just based on that.
Yeah, did you see the Daily Beast article?
I did, yeah.
Yeah.
Based on, like, theoretically speaking, the way it looks from back here at a distance, it kind of looks like ambulance chasing. What's going to be the big event? Let me just show up there and not have any, like, real information to say. I'm just recording shit. And just because I released the video first of the recording, it's like, oh. Thus, people will look to my video. And I keep a pretty vague character on screen, and then people will make up what they think. Like, they'll make up their own narrative when they look at me. I'll just be like a big mirror. Whatever you want to see, you'll see it. Except he went so far into Trump land that there's like no going back. Not really. Like, the whole political scene would have to shift a bit. Right, Jimmy Dore? What do they call it? The Overton window? Right? If Jimmy does this thing to where it's like, sure, he doesn't like Trump, but at the same time, he's like, he's not the biggest problem. Whoop. The window moves a little bit. And now Tim Pool is finding it easier to be more and more likable to the lefty progressive types, which would, what Jimmy Dore would call himself. Kind of interesting, right? Anyways, here we go.
And also that guy, Henry, he was the guy when it first started. They couldn't reach him for this Daily Beast article. He was the guy who actually sort of like was contextualizing things. And I think he was genuinely an activist. And they had a falling out, and it was unclear why, but I suspect it had something to do with him sort of realizing, like, this guy's trying to monetize this in a way that, like, I'm not quite comfortable with. But I don't know. They never be able to reach him, and we just haven't heard much about him.
The people they did reach who worked with
doing background investigating.
Tim did say a lot of funny things in that article.
Yes. Definitely worth reading.
Folks, there's more of what you've just saw.
Nope. I'm good. Oh, wrong screen. There we go. All right. So there it is. Things that have already been kind of known, I would say, about Tim Pool. But some other interesting things. I like that someone asked that question, like, well, what the fuck is the appeal of this guy? Like, he doesn't give you information, right? He doesn't give you information. His character's not that interesting. He's wishy-washy, stands on no solid ground. I guess his guests are the most interesting thing, but how he got there to be able to bring on these famous guests or whoever, that should be, like, examined. Like, it doesn't make sense. Like, imagine getting by just having nothing there, having a glass of water, tap water. Imagine just being tap water and getting by that way, getting pretty wealthy off of that, off of saying nothing. Well, AOC's bad. And 3 videos later, well, I get it. No, she's not the worst, 1 minute, Biden's a socialist. The next minute, we can't have Bernie Sanders winning because he's a socialist. Like, wait, but Joe Biden's a socialist too, so. Anyways, all right, that's it for me. Please subscribe if you like, comment, agree, disagree, tell me what you think. Leave it in the comment section. Don't forget to share, support, or hopefully donate to all the links in the description box. Check them out and donate. If you don't have money, at the very least, share them. Those are all choices, by the way. You don't have to. All right. With all that said, give this video a thumbs down.
Say you wanna get in.